Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Violet.
And I'm Ruby.
And today we're taking a look at Heroes of Barcadia. So this is a game that says 21 plus on it. So some people were breaking the law by playing this.
You were the one who told us to play it.
Don't throw me into the...
I played 13 plus games when I was like 8.
Well, don't tell Jimmy, because he follows the age limit on games religiously. This is 21 plus because you can actually drink in this game if you add alcohol to it. It is a drinking game, although you can use water, which is what we did. And your drink,
Flavored water.
Obviously.
Boring.
Well, water's good for you.
But it's boring.
But good for you.
So it's eating lunch.
Anyhow, in this game, your character is a cup. And that cup is full of liquid, and that liquid is your hit points. Let me show you. First, let's talk about the box. I don't really like this box because it has this open-end thing, which is really a sign of mass market games. And I guess it's like, ooh, I'm carrying something around. The problem is these cups, if you don't put them in this piece of cardboard that the game comes with, then they don't really fit in the box right. It's just, I found it to be kind of a pain in the neck to fit everything in. There's another box here that holds everything else, which is fine. I just felt like the whole thing could have been a better production. Why not have a box with a lid? By the way, the game does come with these little ways to make different drinks if that's something that you're interested in. So it shows you all that. This is like an extra thing the game gives you. At the beginning of the game, you build the dungeon. These tiles are all essentially one big giant tile. And after that, you have a certain number of tiles based on the number of players in the game. And you can build a dungeon any way you want. So yeah, as long as everything connects to something else, I might leave a hole there. And you're just going to place these all over the place and take a while and build like a dungeon that's sprawling all over the place. The rulebook has an example here. This would be a complete dungeon. After that, players are going to pick their characters. So each character is a cup, and they're going to start with full hit points, which you're going to fill with the beverage of your choice. In my case, it's going to be water. All right, water is a little bland here, so let's bloody the water up with some. There we go. Now, look at that. So that is your hit points. Everyone's going to start on this central tile, and then you'll start taking turns. On your turn, you can reveal and enter an adjacent room. Now, depending on what kind of room that is, different things will happen. Many rooms are monsters, like this Chugacabra here. This monster is a level 8. It does 5 damage to you, and the reward for killing it is a loot card. So when you attack it, you simply roll a 20-sided die, trying to roll higher than the level, equal to or higher than the level. If you succeed, you get the reward, which in this case is a loot card. If you fail, you will turn the card back down because you have to go into that room again, and you'll have to drink that many hit points. So 5 hit points. Ah, refreshing. Now I'm down to 55 hit points, and then your turn's over. If you do kill the monster, you'll leave it face up to show that you've killed it. Some monsters are bigger. This Mimosaurus, you see, is a level 13, but he gives you 3 loot cards. Sometimes you'll come across a boss. A boss, you have to fight against somebody else. You'll pick someone else to roll, and you just roll against that person. But their rewards can be better, like getting a power-up. Now, I mentioned loot cards and power-ups. There's a deck of loot cards, and by the way, everything in this game is waterproof. The loot cards are like cards you either play between turns to do 10 damage to an opponent of your choice, pick someone, move them in an adjacent room, or you can play them on your turn. The monster you're about to battle is a -2 level reduction for this battle only. Heal yourself 10 hit points. Do an extra action this turn. And so that's what loot cards are. Power-up cards stay in front of you. This gives you +1 attack against monsters, +2 attack against monsters. You can draw loot cards until you get 3 in your hand. 3+ attack against monsters level 10 or higher. 5 attack in duels if you fight another player. Power-ups are important because you're looking to find the final boss of the game. When you find this card, the Grand Drink Guardian, you need to have 3 power-ups, but then you fight him. If you defeat him, you win the game. Other things that you might find in the game, you might find some magic portals, where you can warp back and forth between other ones. Sometimes you just get some loot cards or a power-up. And then there's all sorts of monsters. Clearly the Drink Horde, a Hobgoblin. There's another magic portal, more loot cards. There's Wheatbeard, the Balgraga Porgoth, the Slurmaid, the Jagermonster, the Mudslidra, and so on and so forth. You can see there's lots of different characters in this game, lots of different loot cards. There's also tokens here that you'll be using. The dice, they have a die for each of the players, each of the different color players. And there's even optional things you can do. There's this deck of house rules or special powers for each of the players. Like the character I'm using, once you can teleport back to the starting point no matter where you are. So each player is going to be taking an action on their turn, revealing and going into an ancient room, moving to, or you can try to win the game if you see where the Drink Horde is. And that's how you play. All right, so what did you think about the idea that you drank your hit points?
Well, it definitely made losing a lot better and more motivational. Like, if I lose, it won't be so bad because I'll get an actual reward from it rather than just having satisfaction of winning.
Well, what if you made the drink a disgusting drink then?
Why would you purposely do that?
I would end friendships after that.
Double punishment. Double punishment. Lose hit points. But actually, it was pretty funny when we first played. We put the cups out there, and I had to control myself to not accidentally drink my character's hit points away.
Literally
For like the first few minutes,
several
I was
times.
like, I can't do it.
Now, that being said, so I didn't mention in the rules overview that when you can die in this game. And when you die, you drop a card, you drop some loot, and then you go back to start, and you get your hit points back. So if you drink all your drink, and then you pour it in again, and you drink after a while, you might get tired of that. I think.
Yeah.
Just get a different flavor.
Okay, you know what? It's not that easy to drink the right amount out.
Yeah.
We were
That is
thinking
true.
straws would be easier,
But we didn't have any straws.
but if you were like,
And I'm
and
pretty
you look
sure
at it, look at it.
pretty sure the only straws we did own were really chewed up and smelled weird.
Okay, I don't know why that's relevant to this review.
Didn't we throw those away?
I don't know or care. Okay, so the drinking is a funny thing,
Yeah.
but what about the actual game?
It was a pretty average, normal dungeon crawl. I like the special abilities that all the cards gave you, especially when you be like, I'm gonna give a trap to this person so they cannot get any closer, like how I continuously blocked Ruby from going to the boss.
Yeah, those little bottle caps that showed you are traps that you can put, you know, when you move on, you have to roll a die. I don't know. Violet says it's pretty average. This game is pretty basic. Like, roll a die and see what happens. You might have some cards that add to it. The special powers are optional. They should be optional. You should have to play with them. But Violet might turn over a monster that needs 15 to beat it, and I turn one over that's 6. Guess who's having a better day?
Well, normally if it's 15 to beat it, it's a boss and I'll actually get a good reward.
I agree on that, but still, you just roll a die and hope it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Or at least have a good artifact that would help you with your die rolling.
And even then, there's a lot of luck in you're like going through the dungeon and everyone is finding these different relics, and then suddenly we find the big bad boss and Ruby's close to him and Violet's not.
No, I was the one wandering around trying to find a single boss, and of course I find that one first.
Sure, but if you're close to it, it's easier to get to.
Yeah, but how come the eras I went in, there was like barely any bosses? That was not fair. And you guys kept collecting them super easily.
Did you like the names of things, like the rummy,
Yeah.
the genitar?
Is that in the game?
I thought like the names were pretty good, especially since like they kept finding new names. Like, how many like names can you possibly make with a drink theme?
Apparently a lot.
All right, so what did you think of the game, Ruby?
Overall, it was kind of fun. We didn't mention that you could, like, according to you, we could make the board whatever shape we wanted, and I was like,
What do you mean,
Okay.
according to me? It's in the rules.
okay, fine, but you don't read them anymore, so I don't know.
Just to make sure to see if you're lying or not.
Overall, 7.
A 7?
Yeah.
I like the game. I like the drinking to take hit points idea. Although, like you said, it was really hard to tell how you have to continuously check, make sure you're not drinking too much. It makes it easier when you take a lot of hit points because you take one big gulp and then you check. I liked all the designs for the bosses, and I liked the names as well. The fighting system was, yeah, basic, but I enjoyed it overall, so I would also give it a 7.
All right, I'm not giving it a 7. I don't think it's that good. The game is fine. It's funny. The components are mostly good. The dice are great. It's waterproof. You know, that's all fun. It's a silly idea. It's one that makes you laugh, but there's not much more than beyond that. I know some people are like, oh, but you can drink while you play it. Well, A, I think that's dumb. And B, that concept is funnier in theory than it actually is to do.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm drinking. That's fun to think about.
Like,
the 10th time you do it, not as fun.
What if someone has like bad drinking habits and they throw the whole board if they lose? They need to fix everything. It'd be such a pain in the butt.
Well, that's why I don't play games with people who drink usually, because that can happen. Anyway, you might like it or not. It is more of a novelty than anything else. That's Heroes of Barcadia. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Violet.
And I'm Ruby.
Have fun drinking water.
Did you even give your review? You just said not 7.
They know it's not a 7.